Beautiful ignited souls. Hope you've got your spoon, fork, knife, whatever it is ready. And we are igniting the 14 gods, that which we are the embodiment of. And of course, the high priest Aaron. So get your fork, get your spoon. Let's dig in deep once more. Right. So, yeah. It's just been so exciting looking at all these developments on the big five world religions. It's just so much revelation. And to compare them with the sacrifice template here, for instance, this smaller frame, I think it's like it's worked out in a way that shows us that the sacrifice template is not just all about the story of Jesus being nailed on the cross and so on for the sins of the well, it said it's for the sins of the world. And so I can begin to understand that in another way, that it's a representation of what we all need to actually go through. When I say go through, I'm going to be mindful with my words. you know, it's like, it's really the number four. It really is the number four. So there you are of 4 points, because you know that from the story of the sacrifice, for instance. And this is all about the north, south, east, west. I have done videos on that, and they are my old videos, but I know that they're spot on. So it's about your north, your south, east, and west. So this is your head, your north, your south, your east, and your west. This is what it's about. And of course, you could imagine, well, you've probably seen many symbols of Christ's crucifixion, of course, on the cross, and his arms being nailed to the cross, and the two legs, of course, come here. So we are talking about your north, south, east, and west. And that was the world news. You could say that was news. This is in world news. And this is all about the creation again. This is where we are at right now, creating man in our image after our likeness. Putting all these symbols together, this would represent 16, 3 5s, 15 plus 1, and of course is 7. Now, where we can see this, this is happening, it's like, for instance, the same thing is happening, but it's turning in another way. And so, for instance, if your birthday was on Tuesday on 1 year, it would be Wednesday the following year or so. I believe that's correct. So until maybe it comes to another cycle where it reverses again, or of course, sorry. But the point I am making here is when Christ, of course, went through that crucifixion, or you could say the 2 points here, it's when we totally submit to the next level. It really represents submitting to the next level. Like you see in 2020, a lot of people are dying, but a lot of people, even if they don't die or get buried or cremated or that sort of thing, it's that they are dying of their old self. They are dying of the old habits. They are dying of the old way of thinking, because they have had to think of things in a different way. They have had to become very creative. Now, before I go on much longer, this video, for instance, is to really examine Judaism at a closer level, if you like. When I say closer, I feel that I have done the work we have done on Genesis with the gods concerning the big five religions of the world. Of course, we have looked at Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism. We have looked at these 5, and what I really felt was necessary, and of course this was confirmed by the high priest Aaron, to look at just look at the last digit that we had, meaning Judaism had 3. If you are new to this as well, I would urge that you watch the Big 5 on Judaism and you will get the essence of it. But we can also give a little demonstration on this. So what we did, we actually had Judaism, added the value of Judaism and the number of letters, the characters. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so it's right here. And we'll work on this space here. Okay, we'll work on this space right here. So Judaism was 23, which becomes 5, and the number of characters, the letters, is 7. Adding this together, of course, became 12. We have looked at the making or the workings of that, but the overall essence of this is to see that 1 plus 2 is 3, and how is 3 serving Judaism, or how does it marry into the 5, the big 5 religions, or how does it function, and its relation to the 14 gods as well, or the sacrifice template. Let's look at that. Number 3. So we have 3, okay, as Judaism. Okay, so equals 3. Now, one thing I like to do is really look at the number on all angles, because we are creative beings, and we are, of course, in our function, our movement, this is how we create the vibration of the numbers. So if you have a expression number of 3, for instance, in your makeup, you probably would find yourself one of the most creative people, but it means you would be like a butterfly as well till you find your resting place. This is what 3 is like, because it is a number, but it's also a glyph, we could say. So it is like an M, it is like an E, a 3, it is like an E, and it's like a W. So we see that this is where it becomes whole. This is the cycle of 8, because this is an 8-petal flower, and this is what we see with Judaism. We could say, for instance, Judaism has had to go through a lot of cycles, a lot of batting its wings to try and find its resting place. And I think there is still a lot happening in Giza as well. So there is a lot happening to find that wholeness. It will not rest until it finds that place where it feels whole, to represent number 8. That's how Judaism comes across. Number 3, and I'm going to make this short. The other thing, of course, we could see with number 3, another way of looking at number 3, is that we do the numerical value for 3 as 28955. Adding these together is 29. 2 plus 9 is 11. So we can look at 3 like this and see that 11 is 1, 1. If we did the numerical value for 1 and 1, of course, each of these would be 7, like in Neo. I keep making reference to Neo in the Matrix because we are as well neomorphosizing. I've stretched the word. First of all, it was neomorphosized. Now it's neomorphosizing. Okay, so I've coined the term. You know, who knows, it might go into Oxford or Cambridge or something like that. So we have 2 7s here before we go further. So we can see how 3 is actually the emblem, or it carries the emblem of Mother Eve, because 7 plus 7 is 14, 1 plus 4 is 5, and of course 14 is Mother Eve. Eve is actually 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. Now, of course, Eve is also the set god, because 5 is also 6 when we do the numerical value for 5. We can also see how 3 is actually the very first letter Mother Eve, when she does an expression or casts her spell in the Bible, which is Genesis chapter 1, Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. This is where Mother Eve does her first spell when she says, "Let there be light," because it carries the letters, which is the whole thing that we are on about, trying to get this 8, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Because this is where Mother Eve came with her contracts with the gods. She says, "Let there be light." The first letter is L, and L equals 3. So we can see that I believe it is a lot of Elohims and L's in the Torah. I believe so. I've looked at it, but of course I am really, in case you want to treat me to one as well, I would really welcome that. Yeah. So 3 actually represents the first letter of Mother Eve. And this really falls in beautiful with all what we have been teaching on here as the 14 gods of Genesis. So the 14 gods of Genesis has found themselves in this. They reflect beautifully in number 3. And another way of looking at number 3 as well, because it's a glyph, we can look at this. Let's just keep this in mind. So we had 11 was 1, 1. Another way of looking at 3 or 11, we could do the numerical value, because it's good to look at that, 11, and see that Mother Eve is in the middle of it. Or Mother Eve evens things up. Mother Eve level, Level, levels things up. And so on. So there is a lot we could see that happens, and that Judaism is striving to really get this template together. Okay. And this year, or for the next 2 years, this year and 2021, we will see major change. We already seen major changes. Now, another thing, another way of looking at number 3 is to also bear in mind that the word there, when Mother Eve says there, is actually just like 3. And it also has the same numerical vibration. But what is in there is also here. Perhaps this is something that Judaism had not really caught on, in the sense of struggling to be here or there. Okay. All right. So there is another thing about number 3, as we said, because it's a glyph. So it's also a W, as I have said, but it also, in that it is a W, it also represents the 7, 7. So this could be seen as 7 and 7, 2 7s upside down. This is 1 7, which forms like an L, and another 7, which forms like an L. So that becomes W's. And also, we could see that it works perfectly, because W is the value of 5. 7 and 7, 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. So that is your number 3 here. This is what Judaism is representing right here. Basically, we can conclude that Judaism with the number 3 is very creative, as we can see how 3 has turned upside down, and it's very dynamic. It does not rest. It makes its presence felt. It is that butterfly. By the way, perhaps there is so much more on number 3, but what I can do, I will add under this list, I will put other links of my video on there of number 3, because it's to also show you the M letter or the E, the letter, and so on. So it shows all these coming together will form a bigger of most valuable vibration, because E would have the vibration of 5, M would have the vibration of 4. I'll just do it very quickly here. So M has 4, E has 5, 3 is 3, and W is 5. So just adding this together will be 8 plus 9. 8 plus 9 is it's 17, and it's the same thing. It comes to the same thing, of course, is 18. So this is the beautiful thing about numerology right here. So we have had this 8-petal flower. We did the numerical value as though it, of course, having the M, having the W, having E, having 3 and E. And then we also have 17. 9 plus 8 is 17. And so 17 is 8. So we can see that, for instance, that with we say the blessing or the gift of number 3 is one that is really beautiful for Judaism. And that's one of the big 5 religions. That's beautiful, and there's 17 minutes on the clock. This is beautiful. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this. Please give us a like on this, and like and subscribe and share, and stay ignited.